Welcome, Magic players of every shape, ability, and gender. Have you ever wondered what it might feel like to physically waste $25? We might have an opportunity today. Coming up next on Sweet Polls. Thank you everyone for joining. Please consider liking and subscribing this video. It does help out a lot. Today we're going to crack open a pack of Dominaria United, but this is the collector booster. Let's just get into it, shall we? There it is. Oh, come on. Oh, she's a toughie. She's a toughie. Put that over there. All right. To start off, we have Erdborg Repossession. It is a 1-mana sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. You gain 2 life. If this spell was kicked, return another target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. And the kicker cost is 1 and a green. As a reminder, kicker is you may pay an additional 1 and a green as you cast this spell. This seems alright. I mean, for 3, get 2 cards out of the graveyard, 1 being a creature, the other can be just permanent and gain 2. That seems fine. It's fine. Put that over there. Next up, we have Bog Badger, a 3/3 creature for 2 and a green. The Badger says, when Bog Badger enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create... That's not what it says. When Bog Badger enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, creatures you control gain menace until the end of turn. And kicker is 1 black. It seems fine too. I don't mind that at all. Let me put that over there. Next up we have Idyllic Beachfront, which is a land plains island. Idyllic Beachfront enters the battlefield and can tap to add white or blue. In the tradition of the original Tolarian Academy, every Tolarian campus is built near a body of water. Neat. So these ones are interesting because they are just your basic come into the battlefield tapped dual lands, but they do have the actual basic land identifiers on them, and that's because of domain. Speaking of domain, Shadow Prophecy, 2 and a black instant, says domain, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Put up to 2 of them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 2 life. Oh, and then you can just repossess them with Erdborg and gain back your 2 life. That's how debt works? I don't know. This seems fine. See, the way the domain counts is it talks about the basic land types. The idyllic, what are you called? Beachfront is not a basic land, but plain island is on the card, and those are basic land types. So you play a swamp to cast this, and you have that idyllic beachfront out, you have domain 3. Boop boop. Sprouting Goblin. Ooh. What's going on with you, dude? 1 in a red creature goblin druid is a 2/2. When Sprouting Goblin enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, search your library for a land card with a basic land type, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Pay red, tap, sacrifice a land, draw a card. It has kicker for 1 green. That's pretty neat. I like that card. That card makes me happy. Prayer of Prayer of Binding is a 3 and a white enchantment with flash. Means you can cast it anytime you would cast an instant. When Prayer of Binding enters the battlefield, exile up to one target non-land permanent an opponent controls until Prayer of Binding leaves the battlefield. You gain 2 life. Oh, it's just like it's a really fast O-ring. Why does everything care about 2 life? Is Shock in this set? Sweet. We got our land. It's an island. Island is land. And I have about 5 of these. Namada Primeval Warden. 2 black and green for a legendary creature tree folk. Has reach. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, create a 1/1 green Saproling creature token. Pay 1 green, sacrifice a Saproling. Namada Primeval Warden gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. Pay 1 and a black, sacrifice 2 Saprolings. Draw a card. I think this guy's pretty good, generally. Is this the right place to have the discussion about the hard or the soft G for GIF/GIF? The Cruelty of Gix/Jix is a enchantment saga, 3 black. Has target opponent reveals their hand, you choose a creature or planeswalker card from it, that player discards that card. Search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle, you lose 3 life. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. The Cruelty of Gix/Jix also has the new mechanic for sagas, which is read ahead, which is when you play it, you get to decide where you're gonna start the book. So 5 mana for a reanimate. That's pretty standard fare. I could see doing that right off the bat, but this seems perfectly fine to let it run the course, because make them chunk something, potentially a big card that you're going to reanimate. Search your library for a card, lose 3 life, you know, you tutor, and then steal a card from their graveyard, or your own, who knows, whatever. I like that, that's a cool one. Valiant Veteran is a 1 and a white creature core soldier, and he has a little extra on the side. Other soldiers you control get +1/+1. Oh, I was thinking about knights. I was like, there's a knight that does that. 3 white, exile Valiant Veteran. From your graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on each soldier you control. That seems useful. Perhaps as useful as Rada Coalition Warlord. Neat side note. I lost to somebody playing this today. Rada Coalition Warlord, 2 red-green, legendary creature, Elf Warrior, has domain. When Rada Coalition Warlord becomes tapped, another target creature you control gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control, and they are a 3/3. Obviously, the easiest way to tap it is to swing in like that. Did I tell you? Valiant Veteran's a 2/2, in case I didn't. Rada's sweet. This is top tier. This goes along with that green red card from Midnight Hunt that gives another creature counters equal to its power at the beginning of combat. This kind of has that same jive to it. Ramirez de Pietro Pillager, 2 blue-black legendary creature human pirate for 4/3 that is I believe, a redo of... I think this is the first time it has been, but Di Pietro, I'm fairly positive, was one of the first round of legendary creatures that they did, where they were all really expensive, really gold, and really shit. Anyway, when Ramirez Di Pietro Pillager enters the battlefield, you lose 2 life and create 2 treasure tokens. 2 life again. Why is it 2? Whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled. This is actually one of the ones for Commander, I believe, because it's got the weird little inside thing or whatever, I believe. I believe that's what it's for. And another one that I already have. Torsten, founder of Dominaria, is a 5 green-white legendary creature, human soldier, mythic, 7/7. Says, when Torsten, founder of Dominaria, enters the battlefield, reveal the top 7 cards of your library. Put any number of creature and or land cards from among them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. When Torsten dies, create 7 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. Oh, so you're friends with the Valiant boy. It all makes sense now. I mean, he's really expensive. Like he's a 7/7 for 7 that does stuff. I mean, I guess he's green-white. You probably ramp into that pretty easy, but... I got a Shivan Reef, and it's really dope. You look at it on the thing later. But it's the kind of full art one. Shivan Reef is a land. Tap to add colorless to your mana pool, or tap add blue or red. Shivan Reef deals 1 damage to you. Classic Pain Land. Love these. These are awesome. Remember getting a lot of these in around Core Set 2015, because that's when I discovered the slivers were horrendous. So, cool. And a shiny, shiny, shiny Llanowar Green Widow, which is a 2 and a green creature spider. Reach, trample, domain, and 7 and a green. To return Llanowar Green Widow from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. It gains, if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each basic land type among lands you control. This says battlefield tapped. It gains. I'm losing my mind, right? Is this straight up a typo on this card? Maybe it'll be worth more because it's a failure. And our token is a Saproling / Goblin. This Goblin is awesome. Holy crap, look at that guy. Remember what I said about wasting 25 bucks? I think I wasted 25 bucks. All in all, the pack came out to about 10-ish bucks. Whole $2.30 of that was the ye old Cruelty of Gix. I mean, you're not supposed to draft these sets, but to be honest, I mean, I might take the Cruelty. It seems pretty cool. I like it a lot. But aside from, I mean, maybe Namada, and I just go all Sapro Daddy on things. Maybe I just take Llanowar Green Widow because it's just, I mean, it's a 4/3 reach trample for 3. Which is good, despite its failures at the English language. Well, that's it for this episode of Sweet Pulls. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing and checking out the rest of the channel for various other content, not specifically related to this, but possibly related to this. Thank you everybody again. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.